1926.307 Mechanical Power Transmission Apparatus. 1926.307a General Requirements. 1926.307a1 This section covers all types and shapes of power transmission belts, except the following when operating at 250 feet per minute or less. 1926.307a1 I Flat belts 1 inch 2.54 centimeters or less in width. 1926.307a1 2 Flat belts 2 inches 5.08 centimeters or less in width which are free from metal lacings or fasteners. 1926.307a1 3 Round belts half an inch 1.27 centimeters or less in diameter. And 1926.307a1 4 Single strand V belts, the width of which is 1330 seconds, inches or less. 1926.307a2 Vertical and inclined belts, paragraphs E3 and 4 of this section, if not more than 2.5 inches, 6.35 centimeters, wide and running at a speed of less than 1,000 feet per minute, and if free from metal lacings or fastening, may be guarded with a nip point belt and pulley guard. 1926.307a3 For the textile industry, because of the presence of excessive deposits of lint, which constitute a serious fire hazard, the sides and face sections only of nip point belt and pulley guards are required, provided the guard shall extend at least 6 inches 15.24 centimeters beyond the rim of the pulley on the in-running and off-running sides of the belt and at least 2 inches 5.08 centimeters away from the rim and face of the pulley in all other directions. 1926.307a4 This section covers the principal features with which power transmission's safeguards shall comply. 1926.307b Prime mover guards 1926.307b1 Flywheels. Flywheels located so that any part is 7 feet 2.128 meters or less above floor or platform shall be guarded in accordance with the requirements of this subparagraph. 1926.307b1 I with an enclosure of sheet, perforated, or expanded metal or woven wire. 1926.307b1 2 with guardrails placed not less than 15 inches 38.1 centimeters nor more than 20 inches 50.8 centimeters from rim. When flywheel extends into pit or is within 12 inches 30.48 centimeters of floor, a standard toe board shall also be provided. 1926.307b1 3 When the upper rim of flywheel protrudes through a working floor, T shall be entirely enclosed or surrounded by a guardrail and toe board. 1926.307b1 4 For flywheels with smooth rims 5 feet 1.52 meters or less in diameter, where the preceding methods cannot be applied, the following may be used. A disc attached to the flywheel in such manner as to cover the spokes of the wheel on the exposed side and present a smooth surface and edge, at the same time providing means for periodic inspection. An open space, not exceeding 4 inches 10.16 centimeters in width, may be left between the outside edge of the disc and the rim of the wheel if desired, to facilitate turning the wheel over. Where a disc is used, the keys or other dangerous projections not covered by disc shall be cut off or covered. This subdivision does not apply to flywheel with solid web centers. 1926.307b1 v Adjustable guard to be used for starting engine or for running adjustment may be provided at the flywheel of gas or oil engines. A slot opening for jack bar will be permitted. 1926.307b1 6 Wherever flywheels are above working areas, guards shall be installed having sufficient strength to hold the weight of the flywheel in the event of a shaft or wheel mounting failure. 1926.307b 2 Cranks and connecting rods. Cranks and connecting rods, when exposed to contact, shall be guarded in accordance with paragraphs M and N of this section, or by a guardrail as described in paragraph O5 of this section. 1926.307b 3 Tail rods or extension piston rods. Tail rods or extension piston rods shall be guarded in accordance with paragraphs M and O of this section, or by a guardrail on sides and end, with a clearance of not less than 38.1 centimeters, nor more than 20 inches 50.8 centimeters, when rod is fully extended. 1926.307 C. Shafting. 1926.307 C1 Installation. 1926.307 C1I. Each continuous line of shafting shall be secured in position against excessive endwise movement. 1926.307 C1 2. Inclined and vertical shafts, particularly inclined idler shafts, shall be securely held in position against endwise thrust. 1926.307 C2. Guarding horizontal shafting. 1926.307 C2I. All exposed parts of horizontal shafting 7 feet, 2.128 meters or less from floor or working platform, excepting runways used exclusively for oiling or running adjustments, shall be protected by a stationary casing enclosing shafting completely or by a trough enclosing sides and top or sides and bottom of shafting as location requires. 1926.307 C2 Shafting under bench machines shall be enclosed by a stationary casing, or by a trough at sides and top or sides and bottom, as location requires. The sides of the trough shall come within at least 6 inches, 15.24 centimeters, of the underside of table, or if shafting is located near floor, within 6 inches, 15.24 centimeters, of floor. In every case, the sides of trough shall extend at least 2 inches, 5.08 centimeters, beyond the shafting or protuberance. 1926.307 C3. Guarding vertical and inclined shafting. Vertical and inclined shafting 7 feet, 2.128 meters or less from floor or working platform, excepting maintenance runways, shall be enclosed with a stationary casing in accordance with requirements of paragraphs M and O of this section. 1926.307 C4. Projecting shafts ends. 1926.307 C4I. Projecting shaft ends shall present a smooth edge and end and shall not project more than 1/2 the diameter of the shaft unless guarded by non-rotating caps or safety sleeves. 1926.307 C4 2. And used keyways shall be filled up or covered. 1926.307 C5. Power transmission apparatus located in basements. All mechanical power transmission apparatus located in basements, towers, and rooms used exclusively for power transmission equipment shall be guarded in accordance with this section, except that the requirements for safeguarding belts, pulleys, and shafting need not be complied with when the following requirements are met. 1926.307 C5I. The basement, tower, or room occupied by transmission equipment is locked against unauthorized entrance. 1926.307 C5 2. The vertical clearance in passageways between the floor and power transmission beams, ceiling, or any other objects is not less than 5 feet 6 inches. 1.672 m. 1926.307 C5 3. The intensity of illumination conforms to the requirements of ANSI A 11.1-1965, R 1970. 1926.307 C5 4. Reserved. 1926.307 C5 V. The route followed by the oiler is protected in such manner as to prevent accident. 1926.307 D. Pulleys. 1926.307 D1. Guarding. Pulleys, any parts of which are 7 feet, 2.128 meters, or less from the floor or working platform, shall be guarded in accordance with the standards specified in paragraphs M and O of this section. Pulleys serving as balance wheels, e.g., punch presses, on which the point of contact between belt and pulley is more than 6 feet 6 inches. 1.976 m, from the floor or platform may be guarded with a disc covering the spokes. 1926.307 D2. Location of pulleys. 1926.307 D2I. Unless the distance to the nearest fixed pulley, clutch, or hanger exceeds the width of the belt used, a guide shall be provided to prevent the belt from leaving the pulley on the side where insufficient clearance exists. 1926.307 D2 Reserved. 1926.307 D3 Broken pulleys. Pulleys with cracks, or pieces broken out of rims, shall not be used. 1926.307 D4 Pulley speeds. Pulleys intended to operate at rim speed in excess of manufacturer's normal recommendations shall be specially designed and carefully balanced for the speed at which they are to operate. 1926.307 E. belt, rope, and chain drives. 1926.307 E1 Horizontal belts and ropes. 1926.307 E1 I, where both runs of horizontal belts are 7 feet, 2.128 meters, or less from the floor level, the guard shall extend to at least 15 inches, 38.1 centimeters above the belt or to a standard height, except that where both runs of a horizontal belt are 42 inches, 106.68 centimeters, or less from the floor, the belt shall be fully enclosed. 1926.307 E1 2 In power plants or power development rooms, a guardrail may be used in lieu of the guard required by paragraph E1 I of this section. 1926.307 E2 Overhead horizontal belts. 1926.307 E2 I Overhead horizontal belts, with lower part 7 feet, 2.128 m, or less from the floor or platform, shall be guarded on sides and bottom in accordance with paragraph O3 of this section. 1926.307 E2 2 Horizontal overhead belts more than 7 feet, 2.128 meters above floor or platform shall be guarded for their entire length under the following conditions. 1926.307 E2 2 A If located over passageways or workplaces and traveling 1,800 feet or more per minute. 1926.307 E2 2 B If center-to-center distance between pulleys is 10 feet, 3.04 meters, or more. 1926.307 E2 2 C If belt is 8 inches, 20.32 centimeters, or more in width. 1926.307 E2 3 Where the upper and lower runs of horizontal belts are so located that passage of persons between them would be possible, the passage shall be either 1926.307 E2 3 A completely barred by a guardrail or other barrier in accordance with paragraphs M and O of this section, or 1926.307 E2 3 B where passage is regarded as necessary. There shall be a platform over the lower run guarded on either side by a railing completely filled in with wire mesh or other filler, or by a solid barrier. The upper run shall be so guarded as to prevent contact therewith either by the worker or by objects carried by him. In power plants only the lower run of the belt need be guarded. 1926.307 E2 4 Overhead chain and link belt drives are governed by the same rules as overhead horizontal belts and shall be guarded in the same manner as belts. 1926.307 E3 Vertical and inclined belts. 1926.307 E3 I Vertical and inclined belts shall be enclosed by a guard conforming to standards in paragraphs M and O of this section. 1926.307 E3 2 All guards for inclined belts shall be arranged in such a manner that a minimum clearance of 7 feet, 2.128 meters is maintained between belt and floor at any point outside of guard. 1926.307 E4 Vertical belts. Vertical belts running over a lower pulley more than 7 feet, 2.128 meters above floor or platform shall be guarded at the bottom in the same manner as horizontal overhead belts, if conditions are as stated in paragraphs E2, 2A, and C of this section. 1926.307 E5 Cone pulley belts. 1926.307 E5 I The cone belt and pulley shall be equipped with a belt shifter so constructed as to adequately guard the nip point of the belt and pulley. If the frame of the belt shifter does not adequately guard the nip point of the belt and pulley, the nip point shall be further protected by means of a vertical guard placed in front of the pulley and extending at least to the top of the largest step of the cone. 1926.307 E5 2 If the belt is of the endless type or laced with rawhide laces, and a belt shifter is not desired, the belt will be considered guarded if the nip point of the belt and pulley is protected by a nip point guard located in front of the cone extending at least to the top of the largest step of the cone, and formed to show the contour of the cone in order to give the nip point of the belt and pulley the maximum protection. 1926.307 E5 3 If the cone is located less than 3 feet 0.912 meters from the floor or working platform, the cone pulley and belt shall be guarded to a height of 3 feet 0.912 meters, regardless of whether the belt is endless or laced with rawhide. 1926.307 E6 Belt tighteners. 1926.307 E6 I. Suspended counterbalance tighteners and all parts thereof shall be of substantial construction and securely fastened. The bearings shall be securely capped. Means must be provided to prevent tightener from falling, in case the belt breaks. 1926.307 E6 2. When suspended counterweights are used and not guarded by location, they shall be so encased as to prevent accident. 1926.307 F. Gears, sprockets, and chains. 1926.307 F1. Gears. Gears shall be guarded in accordance with one of the following methods. 1926.307 F1 I. By a complete enclosure, or 1926.307 F1 2. By a standard guard as described in paragraph O of this section, at least 7 feet, 2.128 meters, high extending 6 inches, 15.24 centimeters above the mesh point of the gears, or 1926.307 F1 3. By a band guard covering the face of gear and having flanges extended inward beyond the root of the teeth on the exposed side or sides. Where any portion of the train of gears guarded by a band guard is less than 6 feet, 1.824 meters from the floor, a disc guard or a complete exposure to the height of 6 feet, 1.824 meters shall be required. 1926.307 F2. Hand-operated gears. Paragraph F1 of this section does not apply to hand-operated gears used only to adjust machine parts and which do not continue to move after hand power is removed. However, the guarding of these gears is highly recommended. 1926.307 F3. Sprockets and chains. All sprocket wheels and chains shall be enclosed unless they are more than 7 feet, 2.128 meters above the floor or platform. Where the drive extends over other machine or working areas, protection against falling shall be provided. This subparagraph does not apply to manually operated sprockets. 1926.307 F4. Openings for oiling. When frequent oiling must be done, openings with hinged or sliding self-closing covers shall be provided. All points not readily accessible shall have oil feed tubes if lubricant is to be added while machinery is in motion. 1926.307 G. Guarding friction drives. The driving point of all friction drives when exposed to contact shall be guarded. All arm or spoke friction drives and all web friction drives with holes in the web shall be entirely enclosed, and all projecting belts on friction drives or exposed to contact shall be guarded. 1926.307 H. Keys, set screws, and other projections. 1926.307 H1. All projecting keys, set screws, and other projections in revolving parts shall be removed or made flush or guarded by metal cover. This subparagraph does not apply to keys or set screws within gear or sprocket casings or other enclosures, nor to keys, set screws, or oil cups in hubs of pulleys less than 20 inches, 50.8 centimeters in diameter where they are within the plane of the rim of the pulley. 1926.307 H2. It is recommended, however, that no projecting set screws or oil cups be used in any revolving pulley or part of machinery. 1926.307 I. Collars and couplings. 1926.307 I1. Collars. All revolving collars, including split collars, shall be cylindrical, and screws or bolts used in collars shall not project beyond the largest periphery of the collar. 1926.307 I2. Couplings. Couplings shall be so constructed as to present no hazard from bolts, nuts, set screws will, however, be permitted where they are covered with safety sleeves or where they are used paralleled with the shafting and are countersunk or else do not extend beyond the flange of the coupling. 1926.307 J. Bearings and facilities for oiling. All drip cups and pans shall be securely fastened. 1926.307 K. Guarding of clutches, cut-off couplings, and clutch pulleys. 1926.307 K1. Guards. Clutches, cut-off couplings, or clutch pulleys having projecting parts, where such clutches are located 7 feet, 2.128 meters, or less above the floor or working platform, shall be enclosed by a stationary guard constructed in accordance with this section. A U-type guard is permissible. 1926.307 K2. Engine rooms. In engine rooms, a guardrail, preferably with toe board, may be used instead of the guard required by paragraph K1 of this section, provided such a room is occupied only by engine room attendants. 1926.307 L. Belt shifters, clutches, shippers, poles, perches, and fasteners. 1926.307 L1. Belt shifters. 1926.307 L1 I. Tight and loose pulleys on all new installations made on or after August 31, 1971, shall be equipped with a permanent belt shifter provided with mechanical means to prevent belt from creeping from loose to tight pulley. It is recommended that old installations be changed to conform to this rule. 1926.307 L1 2. Belt shifter and clutch handles shall be rounded and be located as far as possible from danger of accidental contact, but within easy reach of the operator. Where belt shifter are not directly located over a machine or bench, the handles shall be cut off 6 feet 6 inches. 1.976 m above floor level. 1926.307 L2. Belt shippers and shipper poles. The use of belt poles as substitutes for mechanical shifter is not recommended. 1926.307 L3. Belt perches. Where loose pulleys or idlers are not practicable, belt perches in form of brackets, rollers, etc., shall be used to keep idle belts away from the shafts. 1926.307 L4. Belt fasteners. Belts which of necessity must be shifted by hand in belts within 7 feet (2.128 meters) of the floor or working platform which are not guarded in accordance with this section shall not be fastened with metal in any case, nor with any other fastening which, by construction or wear, will constitute an accident hazard. 1926.307 M. Standard guards, general requirements. 1926.307 M1. Materials. 1926.307 M1 I. Standard conditions shall be secured by the use of the following materials: expanded metal, perforated or solid sheet metal, wire mesh on a frame of angle iron, or iron pipe securely fastened to floor or frame of machine. 1926.307 M1 2. All metal should be free from burrs and sharp edges. 1926.307 M2. Methods of manufacturer. 1926.307 M2 I. Expanded metal, sheet or perforated metal, and wire mesh shall be securely fastened to frame. 1926.307 N. Reserved. 1926.307 O. Approved materials. 1926.307 O1. Minimum requirements. The materials and dimensions specified in this paragraph shall apply to all guards, except horizontal overhead belts, rope, cable, or chain guards more than 7 feet (2.128 meters) above floor or platform. 1926.307 O1 I. Reserved. 1926.307 O1 I. A. All guards shall be rigidly braced every 3 feet (0.912 meters) or fractional part of their height to some fixed part of machinery or building structure. Where guard is exposed to contact with moving equipment, additional strength may be necessary. 1926.307 O2. Wood guards. 1926.307 O2 I. Wood guards may be used in the woodworking and chemical industries, in industries where the presence of fumes or where manufacturing conditions would cause the rapid deterioration of metal guards, also in construction work and in locations outdoors where extreme cold or extreme heat make metal guards and railings undesirable. In all other industries, wood guards shall not be used. 1926.307 O3. Guards for horizontal overhead belts. 1926.307 O3 I. Guards for horizontal overhead belts shall run the entire length of the belt and follow the line of the pulley to the ceiling or be carried to the nearest wall, thus enclosing the belt effectively. Where belts are so located as to make it impracticable to carry the guard to wall or ceiling, construction of guards shall be such as to enclose completely the top and bottom runs of belt and the face of pulleys. 1926.307 O3 2. Reserved. 1926.307 O3 3. Suitable reinforcement shall be provided for the ceiling rafters or overhead floor beams, where such is necessary, to sustain safely the weight and stress likely to be imposed by the guard. The interior surface of all guards, by which is meant the surface of the guard with which a belt will come in contact, shall be smooth and free from all projections of any character, except where construction demands it. Protruding shallow roundhead rivets may be used. Overhead belt guards shall be at least 1/4 wider than belt which they protect, except that this clearance need not in any case exceed 6 inches, 15.24 centimeters, on each side. Overhead rope drive and block and roller chain drive guards shall be not less than 6 inches, 15.24 centimeters, wider than the drive on each side. In overhead silent chain drive guards where the chain is held from lateral displacement on the sprockets, the side clearances required on drives of 20 inch, 50.8 centimeters, centers, or under shall be not less than 1/4 inch, 0.635 centimeters, from the nearest moving chain part, and on drives of over 1/2 inch, 1.27 centimeters, from the nearest moving chain part. 1926.307.04 Guards for horizontal overhead rope and chain drives. Overhead rope and chain drive guard construction shall conform to the rules for overhead belt guard. 1926.307.05 Guardrails and toe boards. 1926.307.05 Guardrail shall be 42 inches, 106.68 centimeters in height, with mid-rail between top rail and floor. 1926.307.05 2 Posts shall be not more than 8 feet, 2.432 meters apart. They are to be permanent and substantial, smooth, and free from protruding nails, bolts, and splinters. If made of pipe, the post shall be 1/4 inches, 3.175 centimeters, inside diameter, or larger. If made of metal shapes or bars, their section shall be equal in strength to that of 1.5, 3.81 centimeters, by 1.5, 3.81 centimeters, by March 16th inch angle iron. If made of wood, the posts shall be 2x4, 2x4 inches or larger. The upper rail shall be 2x4, 2x4 inches, or 2 1x4, 1x4 strips, one at the top and one at the side of posts. The mid-rail may be 1x4, 1x4 inches or more. Where panels are fitted with expanded metal or wire mesh, the middle rails may be omitted. Where guard is exposed to contact with moving equipment, additional strength may be necessary. 1926.307.05 3 Toe boards shall be 4 inches, 10.16 centimeters, or more in height, of wood, metal, or of metal grill not exceeding 1 inch, 2.54 centimeters a mesh. 1926.307 p. Care of equipment. 1926.307 p. 1. General. All power transmission equipment shall be inspected at intervals not exceeding 60 days and be kept in good working condition at all times. 1926.307 p. 2. Shafting. 1926.307 p. 2 I. Shafting shall be kept in alignment, free from rust and excess oil or grease. 1926.307 p. 2 2 Where explosives, explosive dusts, flammable vapors or flammable liquids exist, the hazard of static sparks from shafting shall be carefully considered. 1926.307 p. 3 Bearings. Bearings shall be kept in alignment and properly adjusted. 1926.307 p. 4 Hangers. Hangers shall be inspected to make certain that all supporting bolts and screws are tight and that supports of hanger boxes are adjusted properly. 1926.307 p. 5 Pulleys. 1926.307 p. 5 I. Pulleys shall be kept in proper alignment to prevent belts from running off. 1926.307 p. 6 Care of belts. 1926.307 p. 6 I. Reserved. 1926.307 p. 6 the second. Inspection shall be made of belts, lacings, and fasteners and such equipment kept in good repair. 1926.307 p. 7 Lubrication. The regular oilers shall wear tight-fitting clothing. Machinery shall be oiled when not in motion, wherever possible.